It's a nice day, so I'm going to be working outside. I got quoted $750 to install a window in the kitchen and then aluminum wrap the rest. It was too much for me, and I decided to do it myself. So I've got some decking boards. I'm going to rip them in half, and I'm going to trim around the windows. Once they're all trimmed, I'll kind of let that wood dry up a little bit. Then I'll caulk it with a high quality caulk and then paint the trim. Each window is going to be a little bit different, so I'm going to get one done just to kind of get an idea of the direction I'm going. Then I'll bring you back in and we will trim one together. I've got the prototype kind of put together. I'm going to show you real quick what I did before I nail it all up. So let me get the tripod set up. So this piece was just ripped and cut. I beveled the top piece on the top 15 degrees to where the slight angle in here and where the mortar where they parge the walls kind of makes this one to set down too low. So basically I've got it to where the top edge could be adjusted, but that back edge has clearance for any kind of messiness in the mortar. The bottom part, what I did, I already nailed that down, but I ripped a 1/4 inch by about 3/8 inch wide strip and nailed that down in the existing rough opening. That way when I put this piece right here, the horizontal piece here, it kicks it up at a little bit of an angle. The back side of that is then beveled as well to where I could shove it back far enough. Then I've got these two vertical pieces of the trim. They're just nailed over. They're going to overlap from the wood in the rough opening over onto the windows, and they too are beveled because there's all these slight angles and irregularities. So it's easy for me just to worry about just that front edge. And then if I really wanted to get picky, because it's not perfect, I could get in there and I could scribe it and fit it tight, but that's what caulking's for. So that's pretty much it. I'm using 2.5 inch 16 gauge galvanized finishing nails. So that's exterior rated. So all this looks extremely simple, but once it's all caulked and caulked together, painted white, it's just going to be one white window in there. So I think it's going to look nice. It's a very simple, quick solution. So I've got it figured out now. Now I'll be able to kind of make all my parts up and then just nail them in. But each window will be slightly custom. I forgot to add right at the bottom of the window, you can see there's that gap. In the end, what I'm going to do is apply caulking into that, and I'm going to rip a little custom piece, probably mitered at a 45-degree angle, tuck that in and nail that in. And again, everything's going to get the crap caulked out of it and then painted with a solid stain once the boards dry up a little further. So I've got all of my windows trimmed. I just need to do the window that will come. Not done yet, but there'll still be a next step. So here's the gist. Same thing as I showed you. Now some of them, when the guys were doing the cement work, they cemented right up to the tops of these treated material you see underneath. So it's real clean right up to this piece. So what I'm going to probably do is just cut some sort of little strip of something, or just run some screws with the head sticking out some, and then I'm going to smear some of the same material up on that and then hit it with some of the paint. Basically just kind of blend it in to where it's the concrete goes right up to the underside of this. Another thing I did, and I don't know how easy you're going to be able to see it, Yeah, you can see it. You can see that groove that is ripped on the underside of that piece that sticks out. So what that's for is if water runs down and the water wants to run under there, once it hits that, it will drip off and not go down that. Now I could have ran this whole piece of trim out further and put a piece underneath, but I just kind of like the cleanness of nothing coming out of the rough openings. So again, we'll take a look at this window. And right now it looks so basic, but once this whole thing is caulked and painted, and it's just be basically just on the inside, it'll just be the white, trim white window. Again, just going simple, something I could do kind of semi-quick. This is the only window that's a little different. I haven't kind of finished off the bottom yet, so everything around the top is the same, but it had this extra piece that's stuck in here yet, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I've just kind of got this sitting here at the moment. Probably what I'll do is I'll just nail that one in there and just caulk it all up. And one thing with all this, this is the kind of thing you'd probably get some flack for on YouTube. This will work fine. This is going to work way better than what was here. Nothing, there was no trim here. And again, it's already kind of caulked. The windows are already caulked underneath. And then I'm putting this trim and then I'll caulk it even more. So they'll be good enough. But in the future, you could have this wood aluminum wrapped. So this is good solid base to have wrapped. They could wrap this, wrap it around, bring it down lower, bring it in here and wrap around to this up onto the block. So haven't really wasted any effort as far as any kind of future stuff either. This window, so I'll end up doing that one as well. So this window was a teeny bit different. There was this big a big amount underneath the window, way more than the other. So the rough opening in the block was much larger in this one, and all the wood was totally rotten. So I added this 2x6 that goes all the way, you know, it's a 6-inch wall, so it almost goes all the way through the wall. And then I took a 2x4 up on edge, brought that up to the window. Then I put this piece in, and then I added this extra piece here. So that one just looks a tiny bit different. And what I may end up doing, it's all nailed together, but I may bang this piece in and do that same thing I said, just kind of mortar right up to the bottom. And again, all of these have that same little drip edge added into them. So might as well look around this side. I already showed, you know, nailing a few on that one, but you get the idea. One last thing I'll end up doing outside, well, not one last thing, one of the last things is doing the little door over the crawl space as well. I'll just line that with 2x8s, put a little strip around the inside to act as a door stop, and then basically just hinge a piece of plywood and just have a little latch, just a simple access, and just keep the wind from blowing in and out of there. I'm in the middle of dealing with my windows, and this is what it's starting out like, just the rough framing. I drywalled around the rest of the opening, but drywall is not durable enough for the stool. And then I don't want to put wood there either because paint's going to end up peeling off. People will set things, get it wet, whatever the case is. I may be overthinking it, but I don't think I am long term. So I went with a more durable solution. And this is PVC board. It's a little expensive, but there's going to be no painting or anything like that. The only thing that's a little tricky is the spacing between here and here and here and here is not even. So this is not just a ripped board on the table saw. It's not a board I can just buy the right size either. And then some of these are not perfectly square. So each one of these is going to be a little figuring, but once it's down, it'll be good. And then I will caulk around them and end up with a really nice durable piece right here. So this is just exterior PVC trim board. As well as I'll caulk underneath and fill those 3 screw holes that I missed. There's only 3 in the entire house that I think I missed. But for doing this, I'll show you what I'm using. That cheap fest tool again. So what I do is I first cut it to length on my miter saw, then I mark out on each end of the board the dimension, and then I can lay the rail to those marks. So a track saw is a way that you can basically rip a non-parallel board. You can just cut anything you want as long as it's a straight line. apparently I missed more screw holes than I think, but we'll deal with that later. Here's the fit, and again, that little gap does not matter. This thing is a, I don't know what you call it, trapezoid. Nothing is square or parallel in this, but a little joint that big right there, no big deal. I ended up having to do a slight angle here. Basically where that corner bead is, it just kind of kicks the squareness out a little bit, and I have to compensate for that. So I'll just repeat this 5 more times, 6 more times. It's not very many windows in the house, so doing something a little custom like this really isn't that big of a deal. And if I put wood here, it's the same thing. This is just basically nail it down, caulk it, and done. I don't have to deal with painting. I hate painting. It's too slow. You will have to forgive the abruptness of my video kind of ending without showing the final results of the windows, but I'll show those in the next video. I thought I had it filmed, but apparently I didn't, and I wish I would have filmed it today when I was there. But the house is very close to being done. I need to paint the porch, do an awning over the back porch, the back steps. I need to have the shingles done on the front porch. A couple of things around outside, cleanup-wise. I'm going to have some gravel dumped in the driveway. A lot of little piddly things inside. Mainly, I just need to get cleaned up, touch up some paint, put the panel on the back of the shower. It really is. The house is basically done now. So I'm going to try to make sure I stay on task, and hopefully the video next week will be finishing the house. I don't know if it'll happen by then. There may be some things that slow me down. I'm going to have a fella nail the shingles down on the front porch, so his availability. A few other things that are kind of relying on stuff that may be out of my control. We'll just have to see. You never know what's going to happen to slow you down or speed you up. But I really appreciate you all following along, hanging in there with me. I know I can kind of be inconsistent of posting videos. Sometimes I post them regular, sometimes I don't. I get asked frequently how I buy houses so cheap. The answer is in the first link in the description below, and that is an ebook that I wrote talking about how I do it. And if you buy the book, read it, and put it all in action, be consistent, and follow through, you will be a rich man one day. Money back? Not guaranteed. Thanks for watching. I frequently get asked how I buy houses so cheap. Well, the answer is in the first link in the description below, and that is to my ebook. You can buy it on Amazon or download it directly off my website as a PDF. And if you read it, put it to action, be consistent, and follow through, you will be a rich man or woman. Money back? Not guaranteed. Thanks for watching.